So when I speak up on these sport trainers, I'm not demeaning them. I'm not trying to belittle them, but I'm saying stick with your sport. Quit selling your sport dogs for family companion, family protection dogs.
Right.
Mr. Gypsy, if you want to respond, you can go ahead. But after your response, would you roll into liability? You know? Okay.
I am.
Okay.
Clyde,
yes, sir.
You're a professional. You are a professional.
Thank you, brother.
And what you do with your dog is different than what the church lady is going to do. You just said about a puppy that this guy you say you saw with all this prey. He sells his dog to the church lady. She comes and buys it because he says it's well bred. He's got this great demo. Maybe he did it with food. And so she trusted, but she don't know that you have sold her a dog, a puppy even, that's going to bite her granddaughter.
Exactly.
Just because the granddaughter is playing with a ball.
Yes, sir.
So what a professional can do, it may be okay, but it's taboo when it comes to normal people. So let me go to this. So I'm not disagreeing with you because I'm giving you the credit as you are a professional. What you do with your dog is different than what the church lady does.
Yes, sir.
You have a different expectation than what she has. So here, Kim McCoy is a Hall of Fame agitator, one of the best I've ever seen, and I have to say, he's one of my students. So I used to do work for some police here in Illinois, which of course, they didn't want to see me walking in because the police trainers have a good old boys club and I ain't in it.
Political.
And the kind of people, and I look like who they want to catch out there anyway. So the first thing I tell them, because I ain't trying to be nice, first thing I tell them, I'm there because I am a defensive trainer. That's why I get called in. And I walk in and tell them, man, your dog don't care nothing about you. He doesn't care about defending you. Oh, yes, he does, blah, blah, blah. We pass all these tests and all this. I say, okay, I don't want to talk about it. Let me show you about it. I put Kim McCoy in a blind 50 feet away. And this going to go back to another rule. Defense is predicated on proximity. A man 50 to 75 feet away with a gun is not as dangerous as a man 5 feet away with a machete. Defense is predicated on proximity. So I tell Ken, go on down there in that blind and fire that gun. Step out and fire that gun. Ken steps out, fires that gun. The police deploy his animal. He's cocky. Oh, this is made for me. My boy's going down there and get that. Yeah. He go down there and I tell Ken, you keep him in that sleeve. Because the rules are you hold your hand up and you say, don't move. And the person in decoys, they stop moving. And then you can, but most times the police have to go get their dog. They're not calling the dog out of a bite. And the same thing is when this show and these sport guys, they don't only, if it's 100 dogs out there, it's only 5 or 6 that can actually be called out of a bite. And there may only be 1 or 2 that can be told not to bite after he's been deployed. So the dog gets down there with Kim McCoy, man. And Kim McCoy, I'm telling you, he's great. One of the greatest I've ever seen. And I might be biased because I taught him. When the dog gets down there to Kim McCoy, I'm coming out of another blind and I got my little plastic bat with me and I'm smacking him upside the head. I'm whacking him. I'm not playing. I'm whacking him. And I'm saying, call your dog. And they're, no, come. Man, them dogs never came off of Kim McCoy to come back to save their handler because they don't have no defense. They are crack addicted to that sleeve. And even if it's not the sleeve, they're crack addicted to the bite, to the point that they will not come back to save their master. That's the object lesson that when I get tired of talking, when I get tired of trying to tell them something scientifically, I tell them, okay, Ken, go on down there. Get him down there to you. And then I come with my bat and I'm going to whoop you in front of the other police. Well, you know, they didn't like that, of course. But I didn't go there to make friends. I ain't never tried to be popular. I try to be correct. And when it comes to defense, it's all about protecting the handler. So that is an object lesson, prey versus defense. Because even if I'm sending my dog to stop that guy from picking up the shovel that I got in my yard, or I see that he is about to harm me. See, I don't believe in deploying a dog unless the person can harm you from that distance, because that's the law. That's the law. Could that person have hurt you from that distance, or did he just say something about your mama that made you mad? Or scared you because he looked at you real mean?
But if he was going to pick that shovel up, yes, he could hurt you.
That's the difference. So if a person can harm you from that distance, then it is perfectly legal and moral. See, I don't have no problem with hurting a bad guy. None whatsoever. You get that if you come here with nonsense.
So
that's yours.
So Gypsy,
I've been ready for you. Go ahead.
So Clyde is saying, so we're talking about liability right now. Clyde is saying this guy going to pick up a shovel and he's going to come hurt me with it. And you're kind of saying versus can that guy hurt you at the distance? So are you saying, when does the dog come in to help? As the guy come into you a certain amount of feet, or can you send that dog out if that man has a gun?
Oh God, I don't got to wait till he shoots.
Yeah.
He can make me believe he got a gun and he gonna get it.
And see, you also,
he can go clutch it. Huh?
And I don't have to wait for him to go pick that shovel up.
You don't have to, okay.
There's going to be what's called litigation. If you go to Personal Protection Dog Association on Facebook, I have an interview where I'm interviewing a couple of lawyers. See, lawyers are bloodthirsty. And if they have what's called a legal or righteous bite versus illegal or not righteous bite. They make their money on the not righteous bite. So yes, if he's on your property, you have a right. There's a law now called the Castle Doctrine. I think it's on this thing. Yeah, Castle Law. Can you see that right there?
Yeah.
I stand on that. That I can do whatever I want to do to you if you have come on my property to harm me.
Is that your like stand your ground?
Believe.
Is it like stand your ground? Okay. All right.
Yes.
Okay.
But it is specific to your abode.
Right.
Your home, your cave, your hut. That you have the right to obliterate an individual or individuals that come to your harm, to your house to do you harm, especially if they make you believe it. So I don't think prey is necessary to get my dog to come get you. First off, you're wrong because you're in his yard. And if I tell him, go get him, he know he got all the rights in the world to come down there and put something on you. So I have no qualms about that. The scenario you described is a righteous bite. See, the problem is most dog trainers nowadays don't even work on house protection. They don't work on house protection. They work on field work based on this prey and apprehension BS. Or even if they're defensive trainers, they work on body protection. And they have not evolved to the point of realizing if you out in the park with your dog and 10 gangbangers come in the park and you see them, the law says you have a duty to get out of there. That you are not the police to go tell them, y'all get out of this park. Me and my dog is the police today. You don't have that. You're going to be asked, could you have left? Now, your dog, his job is to help you get out of there, right? Mm-hmm. See, back in the day, it wasn't no such thing as this is Custer's last stand. Your dog got in somebody's got with somebody. You can't stand there because either the police are coming or his cousin is coming out from behind a tree or the rest of his little gangbanger crew is coming. What we gonna do? Stand there and just bite everybody and get killed in the process? Our dog get killed? No, it's time to get out of here. So even if my dog bites you, it's like, okay, dog, that's enough. Now let's go. If you don't have an out, you can't leave. You're gonna leave your dog, or you gonna be there when his backup, when that gangbanger backup get there, you gonna be there, or when the police get there. Well, none of us want to be there when the police get there. I'm gonna tell you, that's just the truth. So, again, the most important thing. Well, let me go back to Kim McCoy. Because that used to give me a lot of pleasure to come out of my blind and whoop them with that plastic bat in front of their other canine unit, to prove to them that they don't have no defense, that all this prey they've done has only created what some people call it sleeve happy, I call it a crackhead, where they can't resist the bite. And when they get there, they can't leave the bite. And not even when it comes to defending you, their master. So that's where I draw my line. I've never used prey in 50 years. I don't use prey. You were saying about these dogs you had that if you stood in front of them for too long, you was a target. They're gonna say, no, you've been standing here too long. You need to get on away from here. And they're ready to put their mouth on them. Yes, so a dog trained in defense, again, defense is predicated on proximity. Anytime you walk into my personal space, my dog identifies you as a problem. You are probably a problem. Therefore, he is ready to handle you, to take care of you. So all I have to do is give permission. And yes, he's going to go get that guy because he's a dog. And he knows I like it when he gets somebody that I tell him to get. He's waiting for that. Please don't reach up under your jacket. Don't act like you're going to reach for something. He's waiting for that because those are the scenarios that we practice.
There's your key word.
When I teach my client. Go ahead.
I said that was the key word to everything you just said, is the scenarios.
Yes.
And that's what so many trainers, for example, again, I'm gonna come back to, I do family dog stuff. I am a family dog trainer.
Yes.
So yes. I do work at home at people's house.
Yes. Yes.
I do set my dogs up for scenarios that I may encounter in my daily life.
Yes.
If there's 3 people around me, and if I put my dog on high alert, the person the closest is the person that can harm me the most. So that is the person that he's supposed to alert on first. So you said that those people that got the crack addict dogs, Again, it comes back to
Crackhead.
trainers are the problem because they make
Yes.
that dog that.
Yes.
Because they think that's what makes the dog so marketable. So I train my family dogs to react to situations that we may encounter in our neighborhood. So I take it like this.
That's right.
A young 18-year-old kid, he joins the military and there's a war going on. Or once he joined the military, they don't just go drop him off in Afghanistan somewhere with this high-powered weapon.
Right.
They take this kid and they teach this kid and they do scenario training, they do tactical training, they do training to prepare him for what he may see in Afghanistan. So that's the same thing with my family dog. For example, what's the difference in somebody kicking in my door and running in here versus my daughter kicking in the door and running home from school?
Yeah.
There's not too much difference. So what I tell people, my family dog grew up with my family. They know who's welcome and who's not welcome, and they're not trigger happy. They're not hair triggers. So when that person kick in that door and run in the house, and especially since my dog has seen my kids do that 1,000 times, so now when I'm training for that scenario for somebody else, he has to stand there for a minute and lay eyes on that person. And once my dog see that it's not one of his playmates, because my kids, in most cases, they play with my dog recognizes.
That's right.
Then he turns into a different beast, a different animal.
That's right.
So
that's right.
The scenario training is what Mr. Gypsy touched on, and I do a lot of training, and most of my scenarios are things that I may encounter in my everyday life, something that my dog may run into. I remember one time I thought I had I knew I had a bad dog. I had a bad dog. His name was the Shiznick, and he was the shit. Trust me. And I would teach my dog. So the way I taught the Shiznick, so since he's a family dog, he's supposed to react on people's body language. If you're not posing a threat, if you're not talking loud, if you're not, most time for something jump off in the neighborhood, there's a lot of this and a lot of talk. So if you get loud and you start flaring your hands, my dog is going to come up in that conversation.
That's right.
Now, when I put my dog in the fence, one day I had my dog in my backyard, and one of my friends came over, and my dog we walked back down my driveway, and my dog barking, because that's what he's supposed to do. So my family dog, his first thing is to alert first. Now, once he alert, then it's up to me to tell him what to do after that, but alert first. Now, if somebody enters my backyard, then they're going to get bit. But this guy, he just walked up to my gate, opened the gate, let my dog out, and just walked naturally. And my dog didn't do anything to him because he wasn't posing no threat anymore. So I immediately said, I got to fix that.
That's right.
He taught me something. So I fixed that. And he came over a couple of weeks later, and I told him, I said, look here, man, I'm just going to warn you, don't do that shit you did the other day, because it ain't going to work this time.
What'd you do, Clyde? How did you teach that?
I did some training with that.
Okay.
I let him know that if I did some training with that same situation. He was aggressive on the fence when they walked up. They just walked up, posed no threat, unlatched my door, and opened the door. And when he came out, my dog wasn't worried about him. But I put my dog on him. I made my dog attack this person.
That's right.
in my training. So now my dog, when you start training, I tell people, when you start training a dog to bite, he looks forward to wanting to bite.
Yeah.
So you better have some control. You better have a no. You better have, see, I'm gonna back up. I remember I used to didn't want to out in a dog. But then I got to thinking kind of like Mr. Gypsy was saying, I better have an out unless I'm gonna be in trouble.
That's right.
See, liability laws are different from state to state. So you, depending on what state you're in, you need to check on what the dog laws is in your state because they vary. So check that and see what the dog laws are in your state. But just like they tell you, like right now, everybody packing guns. And most people think because they got a concealed carry permit, they can just shoot somebody. But these lawyers tell you, you better know what to say and what language to use after you shoot them. Because if you use the wrong language, you may be on a murder charge.
That's right.
That's the same thing with Mr. Gypsy saying about that word attack.
That's right.
One time, my dog got out. So my dog was a beast in the yard with me on command. But if he was just, like sometime I would leave him at home and my mom's house was like 4 blocks away, he learned to jump the fence and come to my mom's house. And anywhere between there and my mom's house, if you pulled up and asked him to get in, he's up in that front seat with you.
Yeah.
But then when you take him home and now you start trying to tell him what to do, you ready to open the gate and let him run off. Because he ain't gonna hide that.
Right.
But one time the dog pound picked my dog up. So when I went to get my dog, they tell me they can't release him because he's a dangerous dog. And I said, why do you say he's a dangerous dog? And the reason why they said he was a dangerous dog, because once they put him in that kennel at the shelter, he's not letting nobody, he's showing aggression to anybody approach that fence. So I'm telling them, hey, he's not dangerous. Once you put him behind that fence, he's been trained to protect that. That's his now. So they're not hearing that. They're ready to quarantine my dog. And so I talked to Judge into going to the animal shelter with me. I said, Your Honor, will you just meet me at the animal shelter? No, they already said, everybody said nobody can approach that dog. I said, Your Honor, I understand that. And I explained to you why. It's no different than that police dog being in the back of that patrol car. And when you walk by it, he's barking because he was trained, even though we're not under the same immunity. So what the judge did, he met me up at the shelter. And he got there before I did. So he was coming out the door and he said, no, I seen him. He was showing a lot of teeth and he was bouncing. I said, Your Honor, that's what he's supposed to. Come here for a minute, Your Honor. And the Your Honor come back in there and my dog is barking. And I just let the gate open. And now my dog is out here wagging his tail, loving on people. I said, Your Honor, if he was a vicious dog, they wouldn't have been able to get him in their
first place.
In the first place. I said, so there's a difference in being vicious and dangerous versus you confining this dog and putting him, he's thinking you're putting him here to protect this. So the lesson I learned in that situation is, again, first of all, I used to put forfeit fences up. But if I get a property and I got some bad dogs, I'm going with a 5 or 6 foot fence.
That's right.
To try to keep my dog from jumping and climbing. And I start with puppies first. If a puppy ever learned to get out of a crate or get out of a fence, he's going to try it the rest of his life. He'll become an escape artist. So anytime anytime we're interacting with a dog, indirectly you're training and you're teaching them something good or bad. So I tell people the best defense is an offense. So it's like Mr. Gypsy said, I start teaching my puppies what no means. When my puppies chase my kids to play, I tell them no, and they quit because I don't want him chasing kids, because that one kid that's scared of dogs and starts screaming, the natural instinct of a dog is prey.
Mhm.
And he just may want to hush that noise. He just may want to chase that noise and play with that noise. He's playing, but he's using his teeth to even play. And that kid is getting terrified.
Mhm. Mhm.
And when that kid go to fighting and wrestling, then that dog gets more serious.
Right.
So I think that we're the problem. Man is the problem.
Mhm.
Now you have some naturally mean dogs, but they wasn't mean puppies.
Mhm.
We did something, or we didn't do something to make these mean dogs. See, I don't have mean, vicious dogs. I have well-trained dogs. I have dogs that's trained to do a job.
Mhm.
And my training, again, is all geared to family stuff. When a man comes to do something, he's not coming with a sleeve. He's not coming to hand my dog a bite. I heard Mr. Gypsy say with his dog, he said he used to, I don't know if he said he did or his dad did, he want his dog to bite anywhere. In my training, there's only a few places that I teach my dog to bite, and that's all up here in your chest and your face area.
Yeah.
The natural thing you're gonna do,
Put your hands up.
a bug, a gnat, anything come up in your face, you gonna do this. That's your natural instinct.
Mm-hmm.
If a dog bite my leg, I got 2 arms to attack your dog.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Hey, let me chime in right quick. So we've been in about an hour and a half, and it's been good because it's been engaging. But at some point, I want to take some questions from the audience because they done all stuck.
Let's take some now.
Y'all want to take some now? Anybody got any questions? Unmute yourself. If anybody got any questions.
Yes, I have one.
Okay.
Are there any negative or positive aspects to using a clicker?
I'll go with that first. So, as a dog trainer, what is your purpose for using a clicker?
I use mine to teach recall and no. Those are the only 2 things I used it for.
So why can't you? Is there any other way that you can teach recall?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it is, but I'm just looking for different techniques.
Are you going to take that clicker? Are you going to take that clicker with you everywhere you go?
No.
At what time are you going to break your dog off of the clicker?
Right after they learned. After that, it was just strictly repetition. Me practicing with them and training with them, saying no. I guess it's the same thing, but I just started off with a clicker because I was first taught with a clicker.
So in my opinion, if you want to start with it, it can't hurt anything. But get away from it as soon as you can.
That's what I've been doing. Okay.
So that's my opinion.
Gypsy.
What about you, Mr. Stratton?
Well, I guess I'm just too old school. I'm old school.
Yes, sir.
And clickers, anything external to me is a waste of time. That's almost like a little bit, you're trying to be a little too clever. My daddy would call it too hip to be happy.
Okay.
So I always ask, is the church lady, just like he just asked you, church lady is not going to take a bag of treats with her everywhere she go. She's not going to take a clicker everywhere she go.
Correct.
And your voice is the most personal thing that a dog The book says that a beast can hear his master's voice,
Right.
even in a storm, even in a crowd. The beast knows his master's voice.
So I am the
And that is my clicker. That's right.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's my clicker. And my voice is his treat.
Your voice
If I
is
can't, I say I got a lot of dogs.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I
I'm
said your
sorry.
voice is treat, your voice is praise. You engage with that
Yes.
puppy. You can keep
Yes.
that puppy's, if you can't keep your puppy's attention with your voice and your body language,
something's wrong.
Yeah.
you're gonna have problems. You're gonna have
You
problems.
got
later.
something, it may not be something wrong, but it's something between you and the dog.
Okay.
I tell, because house protection to me is the most important training. I tell people, especially trainers that have the misfortune of trying to debate me, I always break it down. I tell them, I say, man, if you can train him to do things, if you can motivate your dog to do things because of this clicker or this treat, so can I. I can control your dog with a clicker
Good
or a
point.
treat. If you have
Yeah, very good
conditioned
point.
him to have responses based on these external things. So I'm gonna tell you, you've already done that to the one dog. Get off of it as soon as you can and don't do it with the next one. It looks good,
Exactly.
but
Okay.
it is
Kind
not
of like
practical.
Mr. Stratton said, I'm old fashioned, man, I'm leash and collar. But a lot of my young pups,
Yeah.
about 8 weeks old, I will start some of their basic, just getting a foundation. I'll start with treats. I eventually get away from the treats as soon as I can. By the time my puppies are 5 months, most of the time I'm getting away. I done got away from the treats.
So basically, he should just substitute the clicker with yes.
My voice.
Yeah.
His
Yes.
voice. His voice.
Right.
Okay.
It don't even, I can't stand people. I mean, I won't say, it irritates me a little bit when I hear people say, good sit. Yes, good sit. It just kind of, ugh. I mean, what's wrong with good boy?
Right.
Right. Good boy. All right.
Okay.
Good sit.
Okay.
Well, that's a good sit. Yes. So again, if you're just gonna say yes all the time, same thing. Somebody else can start doing the same thing with yes.
Right.
Exactly.
So
if you go ahead,
Mr.
I'm
Stratton.
sorry.
Goes back to your personal voice.
Yes.
Yes, because that's what your dog, that's what your child learns.
Right.
Is you.
Right.
Your voice. The
These are
happy
the things,
voice, the sad voice, the mad voice. And they learn to respond to that. But I see, I'm all defense all the time. So if you come to me as a client and you got a clicker trained dog or a treat trained dog, I am going to teach your dog. The next person come up to it with a treat is an enemy. You got to watch that person. They're trying to
yeah.
Next person that comes with a treat or a clicker, that's your enemy. They're trying to trick you. Do not believe them.
Right.
That conditioned response. Go ahead.
So Mr. Stratton just hit it. I mean, he hit the nail with the hammer and he hit it hard. So a lot of my dogs that I'm training, I know that they're probably gonna have a new home. So my training is I let other people interact. I let other people handle the leash. I let other people command and give them orders. But my personal dog, I do what I call a foolproof him.
That's
if you
right.
come smooching to my personal dog, you're gonna see some teeth.
That's right.
If I didn't told him, if I didn't alerted him on you, once I alert my personal dog on you, I don't care what you can walk up to him with no body language. You can be as limp as you want to be. You can try a treat. You can try to encourage him. You're going to get teeth, brother, and you will get bit. You keep trying it if you want to, and that's because I foolproof my own personal dogs. Like Mr. Stratton said, I'll let a guy walk up to a treat, give my dog a treat, and if he take it, you slap the shit out of it.
Right.
And
That's right.
and I have most of the time with my dogs, if you do something once, and when you slap him, and I'm gonna ask you, I'm not gonna let you slap him and stand there. I want you to slap him, and I want you to retreat like he was gonna kill you, regardless of what he do. So by the time he realized, damn, he just slapped shit out of me, and then you retreated. Now he.
I told Milo when she was learning.
So now I ask you to do it again, and then I condition, and I keep adding those scenarios into my. But I bomb-proof, foolproof my own personal dogs.
Okay.
Can I get in something here?
Go ahead.
Once again, I think that house protection is the most important protection there is, because everything that you work so hard for is in the house.
Correct.
The big screen is not out in the backyard. It's in the house. All the people that you work so hard for that you love are in the house. So here's something about house protection that I want to say here. Earl Jones used to take me, because Earl was the first professional, he would have detractors, haters, we call them now.
Mm-hmm.
Oh man, my dog is such, he's bad. Oh man, he's bad as hell. And Earl would say, okay. Earl would bet. He kept, $1,000 in his pocket. So how much you want to bet that your dog is susceptible because of what you've been doing? So they would bet, and he would tell me, okay, go on in there and bring the toaster out of there. The only rule is you can't hurt the dog. I cannot go in there and hit him in the head with a hammer. I've got to, and the other rule is if I get bit, Earl loses his money, right? So of course he's gonna teach me how to do these things. So he taught me the conditioned reflex thing, getting back to this clicker and the food and all that, and what makes a dog susceptible to a bad guy. Because bad guys very seldom let you know they're a bad guy. They are, the Bible salesman, or does Miss Jenkins live here? And you come to the door and open the door, and now they're in the house and it's over with.
Can I borrow a cigarette? You got change for $10?
Anything. They don't come saying, I'm getting ready to come in here and kill everybody in the house. Those people are easy to handle.
Mm-hmm.
So what I learned, what Earl taught me was, no matter how bad your dog is, their learned behavior is human beings have the right to come in that door. Because every human being that's come to their house have come in that door, especially their loved ones, their master. So even if your dog is barking and snarling, he still has the trap door in his head. The human beings have the right to come in this door. So if you haven't worked on that, let's go back to these scenarios. If you haven't worked on that, you can't bet on that. I train for that.
Mm-hmm.
I don't train for the overt bad guy. That one is easy. He's easy to handle.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's the one that he wants to get in and out. He doesn't want to. Human beings have an aversion to being eaten. I guess we got it from back in the caveman days and getting eaten by raptors, pterodactyls, whatever was chasing us at the time. But genetically, we're still imprinted. We have an aversion to being eaten, and bad guys do not want to be discovered. So back to this defensive protocol: alarm, challenge, threat display, engagement. Ask any policeman and they'll tell you if you have a good dog, you have less chance of being broke in on or somebody coming there to steal from your house. because bad guys do not want to be discovered. That's why there's so many alarm systems on television all day long. You're gonna see commercials about an alarm system. Alarm makes bad guys flee or at least slow down. Challenge. The one thing about a house alarm is bad guys know it can't hurt them. It can't eat them. But when my boy is behind that door, or one of these good girls I got behind that door, it's a promise that if you come in here, you are going to get eaten. That changes minds.
Yeah.
Again, the challenge. If the bad guy's at the front door, please, dog, don't go to the back door. Go to where he is and show him the promise of pain. That's the threat display.
Right.
These are the things I work on. But I want to share something with y'all. And it's not because I'm trying to sell my book, because I am.
Yeah.
But these are my golden rules. These are my golden rules. The best bite is no bite. Now, I know that's pretty counterintuitive. But if my dog don't have to bite you and it makes you change your mind, that's good for me. We don't have to call the police. Yes.
That's good for everybody.
The next one is safety first. And behind that is no means no. Then we go to a dog needs a master. I tell clients all the time, especially women, dog don't need a mama, you need a master. The women who I saw raise dogs were the masters of these dogs. Now they call their dog Honey, and they put them in the family, but it was still a dog. It wasn't the equal of their grandchild or their daughter. Dogs need masters. They were born to have a master. Wolves were not. Foxes were not. Coyotes were not. There is no genetic material in a wolf, a fox, or a coyote that tells them they need a master. All of that comes with your dog. Because after all these hundreds of thousands of generations, those dogs that could not have a master did not get bred. They were not continued on in the
Breeding program.
genetic pool, let's say. Yes. Then it comes secure your dog. And you said about the fence. If you got a dog, you're gonna not put a 3 or 4 foot fence up. I tell my people, do not teach agility for a dog that you're gonna have there protecting your house. Because if you teach them how to jump out or go through or under, they're gonna do that. And if you got prey connected with that, then anybody in the neighborhood is in trouble. Secure your animal. Also, I have a rule, all defense all the time. And that doesn't mean just the dog. Obedience is defense. You are preparing your dog to do what you want it to do versus a dog that's an idiot and does things that's going to get you in trouble. So it is on your defense for you to obedience train your dog. Of course, prevention is better than apprehension. And it's your dog and your money. Oh boy, I love telling them that. When they don't want to hear, when they don't want to cooperate, I say, okay, that's your dog and it's your money. You go head on with your dog and you take your money somewhere else, because you are going to be liable for what your dog does. And most of us don't live in a holler or up on top of the mountain. Most of us have neighbors. And we don't want our neighbors, our good neighbors, to be subject to our stupid dog. So it's your dog and your money. Then I go down here and I say, look good, act right. I got that from my daddy. I don't care how pretty your dog is. If he don't act right, he's a problem. So he could be a 3-legged dog with a hump in his back and one ear, not looking good. But if he acts right, I'll keep him. versus a dog that's just so gorgeous, but he's a damn fool.
Mm-hmm.
He got to go.
He's a liability.
And here's one that I really believe in. The pedestrian has the right of way. That's old school, old school, old school. If you got a dog that you know will harm an individual, then you don't hog the sidewalk. You get over a little bit. You let the people go on past you. You don't make people walk in the street. That's ridiculous. So the pedestrian has the right of way. And then don't gamble with what you cannot replace. Now, I learned this going to Vegas, okay? You do not gamble with the house money. You don't gamble with your rent money. You don't gamble with your wife's money. You don't gamble with what you cannot replace. So don't gamble with your children when it comes to these dogs. Teach your dog that your child is more important than they are, so they can look up to your child rather than looking at your child as if, oh, this is a weak member of the family. I can push them around. So you don't gamble with what you cannot replace. You don't gamble with other people's children, because you can't replace nothing. You can't replace a nose. You can't replace a finger. If you know your dog bites or has a propensity to bite, then when the neighbor's children come over, put your dog up. Don't gamble with them. Don't use their child as some type of an experiment. Let me see what my dog gonna do. That's gambling. Let me see what he's gonna do. That's gambling. Don't gamble with what you can't replace. And just because they do it, don't mean they know it. You can bring your dog to me, and in a half hour, I can have that dog doing things. Sitting, healing, whatever. But just because he do it, don't mean he knows it. He needs repetition. You need, as a handler, repetition. And of course, 1 man plus 1 dog equal 3 men. I learned that from Earl Jones. Now let me get to this handling thing. This is another problem with sport training and the training that I see on the internet. If you put your dog on a platform and tie him to a post behind him, and now you're agitating him, who's missing? There's something missing in that picture, and what's missing is the handler. I was talking to a gentleman not too long ago, and he was saying, man, I saw one of your demos, Gypsy. I saw you were handling this great big dog with 1 hand. Well, yeah, but if I had taught that dog on the tie out, he would have never known what it feels like for me to be on the other end of that lead.
All right,
I would never have learned.
Can I pause you for a minute, Mr. Gypsy, and let you come right back?
Yes. Go ahead.
Okay, again, I'm family dog trainer, family protection dog. So now, the first thing I do with my dog that I'm making a family protection dog or a personal protection dog, I put him on that back tie by himself. And the reason why I put him on that back tie by himself, because my mentality, my thoughts about this is, if he won't protect himself first, I don't want to rely on him to protect me. So I start, if you go back to my, on my YouTube page and go to my playlist, you'll see a playlist where I say making protection dogs. And at first, you'll see my dogs on a back tie. You'll see nobody else in the picture, because that is one of my first stages, and there's levels. And that's what I tell people. That's what people don't understand. There's levels to this shit. There's stages to it. But I put that dog on the back tie by itself first, because I teach him to protect himself first. And then once he learned to protect himself, now most of my training from then on is with his handler or with the handler. But my very first step is he's either by himself on a back tie or in the yard, in the pen, behind the fence. Those are my first steps. So go ahead, Mr. Gypsy, come on right back. Because like I say, we are alike in so many ways, but then there's some differences the way we get our results.
So I have taught, like I say over and over and over, the church lady is my favorite client. So I agree. The dog, first thing the dog has to learn in defense is to defend himself. Because if he won't defend himself, he sure the hell ain't gonna defend you. But I put him on your side immediately. Now I might have a back tie, but the dog will never feel the back tie. The back tie is for in case you slip or you fall or you can't handle them. Then I have a safety measure. I don't gamble with what I can't replace. So, but I'm teaching you from day one how to handle this dog. As a matter of fact, I teach you what to do if your dog tries to retreat. If you don't go through that process, you see, because everybody's dog not as bad as mine. Dog I got, he gonna be better than yours. Because I demand all that, because I'm a professional trainer. But the church lady, I train old ladies, I train people in wheelchairs to handle their animal so that they will have learned some type of counterbalance. I teach them what foot to put the weight of the dog on. If the dog is in their right hand, don't put your left foot forward because you're going to be counterbalancing yourself. You're going to be working against yourself. But at the same time, the dog is learning, just like it learns in obedience, don't pull me. The dog is learning who he's working with and who he's working for. I'm not against what you described. What I'm against is what I see on the internet, a dog on a table, a platform, got walls on both sides of him and he's tied down on the back end. Who is he working for?
Why?
Who
But again,
is he working for?
Just teaching bite work. That's all that is.
Yes. Sport trainers do not teach handling skills. There is no handling. There's hold them, let them go. That is the extent of their handling.
Okay.
I teach handling. It is a team. The handler and the dog have to work together. Sometimes the handler has to make up for the deficiency the dog has. And at the same time, sometimes the dog has to make up for the deficiency the handler has. They have to learn to work together.
Right.
Yes, sir.
If you got him on a box on a platform, the dog never learned. He got tunnel vision.
Right.
He'll bite his own handler in a real situation because he doesn't have the experience to work with the person. Why is he working? Why and who is he working for? Is he working for himself? Is he a crackhead? Or is he working for me? Is he working for my wife?
Right.
Or is he working for my child?
Right.
This mouth belongs to me. This aggression belongs to me. And when you work with a handler, with the team, then the dog learns that. You know, a tie out is unforgiving. It can handle 1,000 pounds per square inch pressure every time. But me, I might have hurt my ankle last week. And this week, I'm not as strong as I was last week. My dog has to work with me for me. And so I do not put a dog on the table.
Right there.
I will not.
Let me come in right there. So after, immediately after I've taught that dog and let him protect himself and let him, when he's out there by himself, then he don't have to be in control.
Clyde, let me cut you off, brother. Let me cut you off. I'm sorry. Hey, Miss Gypsy, did you finish all your points you was talking about?
Yes, my golden rules.
You got all the points. All right. Okay, Clyde, let's do this. Since you're doing it, this is one of my questions. a lot of this stuff y'all answer it, and I can't even answer the question because y'all going into it, but that's cool. Look at here. So what are the stages of your specific style of training?
All right, so with me, the first stage with my puppies, again, you got to be social. I want my puppy, I want my puppy to have socialization skills. I want my puppy at first, when people come up, my puppy don't have to be barking at him. He don't have to run up to him wagging his tail. I don't really want him doing, there's a mix between there. If he bark and they're not doing anything, that's immediately. I've been working with no means, no, leave it. So the first step in my stages is acknowledgement, alert, recognize. When somebody walk up, especially if they're walking directly towards you, alert. Because somebody walking directly toward you can possibly harm you at some point. Somebody walking away from you or adjacent to you, they're less of a threat. So when I start teaching my protection dogs, any direct movement toward you or me, alert.
Okay.
And then once you alert, now I'm telling that person, hey, that's enough. Or I'm telling my dog to leave it. I'm telling my dog it's okay. I'm telling my dog no. Or I'm gonna put him on strong alert because this could be a possible threat. I got him on guard. So that's my first stage, is to alert. And then, like I say, once he alert, my second stage is to put him out there to see if he'll protect himself. I want him to first start getting vocal. I want him to lunge, go forward. I want him to act, I want him to look like he wants to kill you when you pose a threat to him and he's by himself. I want him to protect himself. My next stage is bringing in the handler. And now I don't want my dog, once the handler has the leash, like Mr. Stratton said, his ankle could be hurt. So now I want my dog, when somebody's approaching and you alert, that doesn't mean you have to lunge forward. You don't have to go forward. You can alert and bark right here beside me. Whenever I move, you keep moving with me. Connect.
Right.
So I just start building that. I'm building the suspicion. I'm building the defense, but yet we're always working in control.
Okay, gotcha. Gypsy, go off, brother.
Yes. Okay, so this is gonna sound kind of weird to you, but I do not teach socialization. I teach manners. So that's old school. Your dog got to know how to act in public.
Yes, sir.
So that's manners. Socialization, to me, leaves a trap door in your dog's head. So here's what I teach. Who's your friend this year may not be your friend next year. And I tell them, sometimes people who laughing and joking with you is hating on you because you got a 70-inch TV and they got a 23-inch TV. They might be looking at your wife, not when you looking at them. They may want to show up at your house. Hey, is Gypsy here? They know Gypsy ain't there. They just saw Gypsy at Walmart. Yeah, is Gypsy here? So my wife may not want to be rude. So my dog is going to be rude for her. My dog is going to tell this guy, yeah, I know you, and I'm not going to use the expletive. I know you, but you're not supposed to be here. And I'm going to be rude. I tell people I want my dog to fire up on Mother Teresa, Santa Claus, and Reverend so-and-so. I want them all to get the exact same message. And this is the other thing I do, because see, I don't never know when a guy is gonna fall off the wagon. Is he gonna fall in love with a stripper and start smoking crystal meth? I don't know. My dog ain't got to figure all that out. My dog got a hard line. You don't live here, you need to check yourself. There it is.
Yes, sir. Yes,
And
sir.
you are now depending on this nice lady to keep me from getting in your ass. That creates a certain amount of respect and care that strangers and friends need to have when they come to your house.
All right, let me
You
ask you
can't
this.
come to my house as my, go ahead.
So now, what about once I come to your house and once I come to your house and you allow me in? Now,
here we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Okay, I have a rule. If I don't know you, love you, and trust you, you're not in my house. I can know you and love you and not trust you. I've been, well, I ain't gonna go into all the darkness on Elm Street. But
just a little lightly, a little lightly.
No. If I don't know you, love you, and trust you, you are not in my house.
But
so
once
you did not come to see, you did not come to see my dog. So if I decide to let you in, I know I got a dog that'll get on you if he even misunderstands. So I put my dog up. 2 reasons. I don't want to gamble with your safety. And I also don't want my dog comfortable with you being in my house. I don't never want my dog to be comfortable with you who don't live here being in my house. Period. I'm all defense all the time. So here's what I ask. I tell them this thing about who's your friend this year may not be your friend next year. And here's what I do with the young women who come. Whether they got their boyfriend with them or not. Because I'll ask them, I say, is this your boyfriend? Yeah. I say, is that the first boyfriend you ever had?
Either. Your phone is what's locked.
Hold on. So Lee, hold on, that's Lee's phone. Let me try to mute him right quick. Go ahead, Gypsy. I'm gonna mute his phone.
So I'll ask him. I'll ask the young lady right next to the man. Is this your boyfriend? Yeah. I say, well, is this the first boyfriend you ever had? No. I said, well, he may not be the last one you got. So don't make your dog his dog. When this boyfriend come over, you want him scared of your dog too. Because he gonna stay respectful. Because men have a problem. They don't believe no mean no. And they don't believe when you tell them to get out of here that you really mean that. So I tell my women clients, this is your dog, your protector. Do not make your dog believe that this guy is permanent, and do not make this guy believe or even have an inkling that he can control your animal. And you'll be much safer and you'll have a much more respectful relationship.
Man, y'all covering all my questions. I was going to get into about women and dogs. Just go off. Yeah. Go
Just
ahead.
a little bit different than Gypsy. You know, I feel like I'm kind of the same way. It ain't too many people that know what the inside of my house look like other than the people I love and my family members. Even my closest friends, they know don't come to my house because I don't keep the air on. I don't keep the Kool-Aid. You know, so they don't come there anyway. But my house ain't a hangout spot. You know,
that's right.
When my partners do come, we'll sit out under the shade tree or something. Or we'll sit on the porch and talk. But I come out and I shut my door behind me. I tell my friends and my family, when you show up to my house, just because my front door open, that don't mean you walk in.
Don't walk in.
You know,
that's right.
Everybody that knows me know that. But if I do let you in, just like you said, Mr. Gypsy, when you said a friend this year may not be a friend next year. So my philosophy is a friend this minute may not be a friend the next minute.
God dog, Clyde.
Hey. So when I let you in my house, my dog, he don't get put up. And if you real nervous and real scared, then I suggest you leave. But this is what I tell people. Don't trust my dog, trust me. If I tell you to come in here and sit down and just be cool, then you all right. Now, if you come in here and start acting suspect and tiptoeing around and keep looking at my dog, then he gonna be looking at you. Quit looking at him. Quit looking at him. If you get up, you walk to the bathroom, get up and walk in a normal way like you would walk to your bathroom at home. Don't get up and start tipping-toeing and sliding your feet, because my dog is going to pay attention to you when you do that. So my thing is like this, and if you go back to my videos of making protection dogs, you'll see some videos where I can put my dog on my helper, take my dog off, and then hand my helper the leash and say, hey, just trust me, be normal, and just walk on down and come back, bring him back. So again, what I'm doing there is I feel like this. If I hand you my dog's leash, I trust you. And I want my dog to have a little bit of trust that I didn't put him in a foul situation.
And you showing that you got full control of your dog at all
Showing
times.
that my dog has training. My dog has training. We have prepared for this. You know, so again, I tell people all the time. So if I tell people all the time, if I put my dog on you, I'm gonna call the police on myself. And I'm gonna let the police know that my dog ain't vicious, he ain't mean. You were doing something to me or my dog, because now my dog can love all on you. He's wagging his tail, he's leaning on you. You can love on my dog. So my dog didn't bite you for no reason. He didn't bite you accidentally.
Right.
So it's your word against my word, but then I got a dog that'll confirm what I just told you.